Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do another basics video and we're going to be focusing on our eyes. I think the idea of a nice eyeshadow look is actually harder than the execution, so I want to show you today, and I'm going to try and use minimal colours, minimal brushes, just to show you how easy it is. So this is a basics eyeshadow video, so stick around if that's something that you're interested in learning. Or just stick around, like don't leave, please watch. So I've already got some sort of base on. I'm gonna stop talking because I don't actually know what I'm saying or if I'm saying anything of any value. So to start with, as always, I'm gonna prime my eyes. I cannot stress how important this is if you're putting eyeshadow on. I've said it 100 times before, but I'll say it again. Our eyelids are our oiliest part of our face, and throughout the day, those oils are just gonna seep through and break up your eyeshadow, and that's when you're gonna get those horrible creases. It's gonna move. We don't want that. So save yourself the trouble. Get a nice eye primer, and this is just going to stop those oils from breaking up your eyeshadow. So not only do I put this on the top of my lids, I also kind of focus it wherever I'm going to be putting makeup around my eyes. So I'm going to pop it underneath my eyes, in the centre, and then just sort of pat it around until it's until it starts to go tacky and starts to dry. Really attractive faces. Really important to wait for that to dry, otherwise it's just going to mess with your life. It's going to mess with the next layers that you put on, and we don't want that, so yeah. Next thing that I like to do is apply a little bit of concealer. This is majorly running out. I need to do a massive makeup shop. There's just so many things I want to get and try, stuff I've run out of. But you know when you're like faced with spending loads of money? I don't know if anyone else is like this, but I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a little bit of concealer. This is the dregs of an Arbonne concealer. And I'm just going to pop it on the top of my eyelids. Not being especially neat with it. And the purpose of this is just to even out my skin tone, so I've got a lovely neutral base to start with. Okay, if I touch my eyelids now, they feel quite sticky and quite tacky because both the products I've just used have been wet ones. Wet. I want to take away that tackiness, and how to do that with any makeup is powder. So I'm going to be using this Morphe palette today. It's the 350 Supernatural Glow palette. I think this is what I'll just use for the whole thing. Keep it simple. The first colour I'm going to be using is probably this one because it's the closest match to my eyelid, I would say, and it's nice and brightening. I am just going to use my finger and I'm just going to pat it over the top of my lid to take away the tackiness from what I was saying before. I'm not going to repeat myself, that has no mirror. Okay, it sits on my finger and I'm just going to tap it over the top. Another reason to do this is another reason why I think it's really important to do this step in particular is if you went in with colour straight away and your eyelids are tacky, then that colour is going to stick and sort of cling to certain points and you won't get that lovely smooth blend. And somebody did say that my eyeshadow blending is like amazing. There we go. So that is how I will prep my eyelids ready for an eyeshadow look, and this is going to help that eyeshadow stay there all day long and it's not going to move, and that is a guarantee from me, I swear to God. In this palette here, there's a bajillion colours, all very lovely, and the first colour that we want to go in with is called our transition colour, and this is basically a colour that's neither here nor there, and it's just going to help with that blending out into nothingness. I like to go in with some quite a light neutral colour, and this is probably one of my favourites, quite cool toned. Oh, where are they? So I'm going to be using, don't judge me, I know that it's not clean. Anyway, I will be using this small fluffy brush just because it's small enough to give me some precision of where I want the eyeshadow to go, but nice and fluffy enough. what is wrong with you? But nice and fluffy enough to diffuse any edges and just give a really nice soft finish. I'm gonna dip that the brush in that eyeshadow. I'm gonna shake it off, rid of any fallout that you don't want on your face. Now, where I'm gonna place this is in the corner of my eye, and I'm gonna bring it up over the top. What I would say is you wanna keep your eye open. And why do you want to keep your eye open? I hear you cry. It's because it's because you can see where your crease is, basically, where the fold of your eye is. When you shut your eye, obviously, well, mine does, becomes very flat. You're not going to know where that is, and you're not going to waste time putting your eyeshadow in the wrong place. I hold my mirror kind of like here under my chin. I look down, and I'll start to press it more than anything. Do yourself a favour, and when you're applying it, press it in first, and this is just gonna put the colour onto your lid, and then once you've done that, start to do tiny little circle motions as you're applying it, because this is just gonna help it blend out. It's almost like doing two jobs in one go. Good tip if you've got slightly hooded eyes is, instead of placing the eyeshadow on your crease, if you place it slightly above, which I actually like to do anyway, then you're really going to see that when you open your eye. And you basically repeat the process until you're happy with the colour payout or how deep the colour is. I'm probably going to do that once more and then move over to my other eye. So, using the brush to like pull the colour out ever so slightly. Right, so you can see there from the placement that the colour isn't actually on my eyelid at all, it's just slightly above, and I've buffed it like outwards. I'm going to do the same on the other eye now. Okay. Okay. Very important to note that my pressure on this brush is minimal. I mean, it's barely there, and that's also going to help with like seamless blending. Where you hold your brush is going to make a big difference. If you were to hold your brush here, that's going to put a lot more pressure on the brush. How many times can I say brush? It will make it look a bit more heavy-handed and probably more concentrated in areas. If you, the further back you hold your brush, the more sort of fluffed out it's going to be. That's a technical term you could take to the bank. There we are. I'm happy with that, happy with that. My next massive tip, to have a brush that has nothing on it. If you struggle with like having those edges that you can't blend them out, this is like game changer. If you have a fluffy brush with nothing on it, then and you also don't need to be neat, you can be really haphazard and just lightly, obviously pressure wise, you just whip it over the edges of what you've done, and with like seriously minimal effort it will totally diffuse those edges for you. And I like to do this between every step. I'm going to use the same brush, keeping in mind that I'm trying to keep this down to minimal equipment so everybody can do it. Same brush, but now I'm going to pick a deeper colour. Hee. And I'm going to go for, I want to warm it up a bit more. I might go for this one here. That's quite warm, isn't it? I'm changing my mind. Of course I am. I'm going, no, I don't know what to do. I'm having a malfunction. My brain is malfunctioning. I don't know what to do. Hold the phone. Hold the phone, sister. I'm going to go for this one here. So I'm just covering the tip in that. I always tap it off, but then I'll also kind of like sponge it into the back of my hand. I'm not really sure why. I think it's because it helps me to control the level that goes on my face, because we all know it's much easier to add more, it's much harder to take away. Once it's on there, it can be a bit of a prick to get off. I don't know why I said that. Right, so in exactly the same motion that I was doing before, I'm going to be placing this on my outer corners and bringing it in. The only difference is I'm going to be putting it more on my lid than I did the previous colour. So, same as before, I'm just tapping it in the corner because that's where I want the majority of the pigment to be. And then I'll start swirling, and then I'll bring it over the top there. Over the top. My hand looks like a gargoyle. There's definitely a crossover from that colour into the one that we've used previously, because you want them to blend together, darling. And you just repeat this process until you're happy with where you're at. And you'll see here I am holding the brush slightly further down the brush because I want to, what's the word? I want to pinpoint more where this pigment is going. You'll see, you'll like, you'll buy. I like to look at it from every angle as well to make sure it looks nice from all of the angles. Okay. And then I'm back with my brush with nothing on it, just to go over the top of all of that. And it doesn't really even pick up any product look. Can you see? Still very much a white blush. Gorgeous. Okay, so next I'm going to do, I don't know what that was and why I did that. I'm going to go for this nice dark colour. I'm going to roll my pencil brush in there. I'll show you in a minute. So this is what I mean by pencil brush. Ooh. This is what I mean by pencil brush. Clues in the name. It's actually quite dense, but it's so good for buffing and smudging out eyeliner or creating fake eyeliner with eyeshadow, which is what we're going to do now. I've dunked that in that nice warm dark brown, and I'm literally just going to run this along my lash line and then fluff it out a bit in the corners. So let's do it. Again, I don't really shut my eye. Looking down is all I do. Looking down is all I do in life. So you can see I've already placed it on the outer corner of my eye. That is where I'm going to work most of the product, because that's where I want most of the depth. And then I'm just going to pull it over the top of the rest of my eyelid. There's a lot to be said for using eyeshadow as your eyeliner, especially if you're a beginner, because it immediately gives you, you know, the smudged look. There's so much less pressure for it to be the perfect line, and it's just much softer, which is great for anyone over the age of 25, because I don't really want a wing look, which you totally can do. I'm just gonna buff that out a bit. Ink corner. Stunning, gorgeous, beautiful. Okay, I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. I really like this lip colour. Now I'm going to take the residual eyeshadow that's on here and run it under my bottom lash line. Just need a break, drink break. Second to last step is my lid. So you've got a couple of options here. You could go for a shimmer or matte. I think I'm gonna go matte, actually. I am. I'm gonna take this neutrally sandy colour, if you can see there. I'm gonna pop it on my ring finger. I'm gonna run that over the top of my lid. I'm gonna take what's left on my finger, I'm gonna rub it under my eye again. Delightful. And then really this is the last step. I'm going to take a nice highlighter colour, oh god, from this palette, and I'm actually leaning towards this pearly colour. I think that's quite a pretty one. And I'm going to use my pinky finger. The shimmery colours actually stick better to something that's a bit more moist. So I've just popped it on the tip of my finger there. I'm going to place this in the centre of the inner corner of my eye. I'm also going to put it on the high points of my brow bone. Then before I do my mascara, adding something onto your waterline makes a massive difference. I'm going to use white. I'm going to pop this on my waterline before I do my mascara. And then I'm going to not dunk that back in and use that to do my lowers. So that is my basics. tutorial for a beginner's eyeshadow, really. We've used 3 brushes, our fingers, 4 eyeshadow colours, 5 technically with the highlighty things. I love this colour. Oh my god, what is wrong with you? Why can't you speak? I love this colour combo. I think it suits pretty much everyone. It's very soft, very flattering. I'd love to know if you give it a go. But I hope you've enjoyed this week's video. I've enjoyed making it. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!